Hey, what's up? Today we're going to create this present. This video is part of a Christmas giveaway that I'm hosting in collaboration with XP. Follow this tutorial, post it on your Instagram, and you will have a chance to win one of 3 drawing tablets from XP. All the information you need to join is in the description down below. So yeah, let's do this. Start up by adding a cube. So press Shift A, Mash, and add a cube. Push Tab to go into edit mode. Press Ctrl R to add a loop cut. Then move it up a tiny bit. Go into face select by pressing 3 on your keyboard or clicking on the icon here. And then with Shift, select the upper loop and press Alt E and extrude faces along normals. And you can just extrude it a tiny bit. There. Then press Ctrl R to add a loop cut right there. Confirm with right click. Add one right there. In edge select both these edges with Shift, and then we'll press Ctrl B. We'll bevel it there, and then we can press Shift D and enter, and then we'll press P and separate by selection. Press Tab to leave edit mode, and we can just select this new object. Tab to go into edit mode, A to select all. S, scale it down just a tiny bit, then press Alt E and then extrude faces like normals. Press S to make it even, and then you can extrude it just like that. Then we'll select the cube, and then we'll add a bevel modifier with 4 segments, and then we'll decrease the amount to 0.03. Looks nice. And then select this object, shift click on the other object, press Ctrl L and P. Copy the modifiers, right click, shade smooth. Okay, then we'll create the bow. So press Shift A, curve, and add a rectangle. And then we can leave edit mode, move that to the side. Then we'll go into front view by pressing 1 on your numpad or the tilde key to open a view menu. And then we'll press front. Then we'll press Shift A, curve, and we'll add a path. Tab to go into edit mode. And then we'll move the start of the path right there to the middle. And then we can create the shape of our bow. There. And then we'll add another one right there. With E, and then we can play around with our shape a tiny bit. There, move that to the side. There. Yeah, I think that looks pretty neat. Then we'll go into our curve settings, geometry, and then in bevel we'll select object, and then with object we'll select our rectangle like that. It looks brilliant. Now if we select our rectangle and press S, and we'll scale it down, and press Y, S and Y, and scale it down on the Y axis, and keep scaling it down until you have like a nice looking bow. So I'm gonna make it just as wide as this part there, and then press S and Y will make it a bit thinner. And then now if we select this and we'll press Ctrl 2 to add a subdivision modifier on that, we can see that we can easily make our shape a bit wider. There. Okay, yeah, that looks brilliant. Okay. Then we'll press H on that one to hide it, and we can hide it from our render as well. Now this bow selected, we can press period key and change our pivot point to 3D cursor. Then we'll press Alt D, R, Z 90, and then press Shift R and Shift R. There we go. Okay, then we'll add a nice cube in the middle to cover that up. So Shift A, Mash, add a cube, G and Z to move it up, and then we can kind of just play with this shape. Then if we press Ctrl 2 to add a subdivision modifier, and then we'll add new loop cuts right there. And then down there, and I think that looks great. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, then we'll go into front view, and we'll press Shift A, and we'll add a camera. And then press G and Y and move your camera back. Go back into camera view by pressing 0 on your numpad or through your view menu. Change the resolution to 1920 by 1920, and then press G and Z twice, and you can move it backwards a bit. That looks great. Select the present, press R twice, and then you can rotate it kind of just the way you want it. There, and then place it into the center of your camera view. Yeah, that looks good. We'll add a background, so press Shift A, Mesh, and add a plane. RX90 to rotate it. Press G and Y, move it backwards. Tab to go into edit mode. Period key, change your pivot point to medium point. S and scale it up so it covers your background. Like that. Okay. We'll go into our render settings. We'll change our engine to cycles. We'll change the device to GPU compute. We can change our sampling viewport to a 128, render to 512. We'll scroll down, color management, and we'll change the look to a medium high contrast. Then we'll press the Z key and we'll go rendered. And this is where we can add some lights. So press Shift A, light, and add an area light. Press RX90 minus, and then G and Y and move it behind your object. Then you can go into camera view, into the light settings, and then we'll increase the size so it covers our camera. And then we'll change the power to 1000. Okay. Then press Shift A, add another area light. Press G and Z to move it up. Period key to change your pivot point to 3D cursor. And then press RX60, RZ60 minus. And then we can look, and then maybe press R and Z, and then we'll rotate it a tiny bit more like that. Change the size to 3 and our shape to a disc. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. And then we'll give this a nice soft orange color, nice warm light. Change our power to 150. Maybe. Yeah, for now that will do. And then make the color a tiny bit more warm. The hex code is FFCDA8. Okay, now we can press Shift D to duplicate this light, press R, Z, and 120 to rotate it to the other side. And press R and X, and then we'll X twice, and then we'll move it down. And then press G and Z twice, move it backwards a bit. And then we'll make this a bit of a colder light. So maybe that's a nice cold blue color. There, that will do for now. And then we'll add a color to our background. So add another area light, press RX90, and then G and Y, and then move it back. Change the shape to disc, size to 3. Power could be 750 to start up with. We'll see how that looks. Maybe 1000. And then we'll also make this a tiny bit warm. Okay. Yeah, I like how that looks. Let's start adding some colors, and then we'll see if we need to adjust our lighting. So select the background, go to the material tab, add a new material. We'll call that background. And then our hex code is F1D19F. Then the package will be a base color of E7CBB5. I think I'm also going to decrease our roughness a tiny bit to 0.3. And then for the gold, we'll call this package. Then we'll add a new one there, add a new material, call it gold. Here our base color will be FFB F69, and then we'll just metallic to 1, and then our roughness will be 0.3. Now we select all these other objects and then click the gold one last, and then press Ctrl L and then M to link our materials. That's perfect. And now we can play a bit with our lighting. Change the world color to 635040. There, just like that. Okay, and now we can adjust our lighting a tiny bit. Maybe make this backlight a tiny bit weaker. Make it 750. And see if this one goes a bit backwards. Make this one a tiny bit more blue. Okay, and I'm just gonna adjust the backlight a tiny bit more because it is a tiny bit bright here on the side. Maybe also make this a bit of a warmer color. Oh yeah, that looks perfect. Okay, that's it. Thanks for joining me. If you have any questions or requests, drop them in the comment section below. I'd love to see your results, so be sure to tag me on Instagram. If you enjoyed this tutorial, feel free to like and subscribe. See you soon!